Hi, friends. It's Joy with In Search of Joy Wellness. Thank you for joining me this week. This week's session I call a little bit of everything yoga. We're going to do a little bit of hip work. We're going to do a little bit of back strengthening. We're going to do a little bit of balance poses. So just a little bit of everything. This session's probably going to be about a half an hour long. We'll see how it goes. Thank you for putting up with me on the last video. I was having a really hard time being a new yoga instructor. There's different things that you have to learn, and that's learning how to breathe and give cues at the same time. And I find that sometimes when I'm trying to get the thought to my mouth, it doesn't come through, and I had a lot of brain fog. It's the only thing I could say from the last video, and I attribute that to being fatigued. I went on a bike ride the day prior to that, and I was pretty tired. So one suggestion I'm going to give to you guys: if you're feeling tired and you feel like you would like to do yoga, maybe not do something that's so, maybe focus on like a bedtime yoga, something that you can relax with and you can just kind of unwind with. I was struggling with holding my breath and the poses in the last video. And so that shows you right there too, that connection with your breath really plays a huge, important part in you being able to hold your pose and flow with it. It's kind of like how it's coming to in my brain. Anyway, with this sequence, I wanted to mix it up and do a little bit of, well, we kind of have some of the same, a few of the poses we've done before, but I think there are some new ones in there that'll make it a lot of fun. So how do we get started? Go ahead and sit on a block. My knee's bothering me today, so I'm not going to sit in full Sukhasana. Making sure that your hips are elevated. See how that naturally lengthens the spine. Make sure you're not overextending the low back down here and extending that C curve. Make sure it stays natural. How you can get it natural is kind of like rock the hips back and forth. Real small movements, and you can kind of feel how the pelvic bowl will move back. Ooh, that feels good. And then you can your pelvic bowl will move forward. It's like a mini cat and cow. And this is really the idea in cat and cow, what you're trying to get in this lower part of your body, in your hip area. I don't know if you guys struggle with like tight hips, low back. I mean, like, the only way that I can explain my low back is like it seems to get fused together. All the parts get all, like, they don't want to move. It's just like really tight. And I find that within that, I find that my shoulders slump. Then I start to get pain in my knees. And then I start to get pains in my feet. And it just is all connected. It's all connected. One of the things that I found that's really beneficial doing yoga is cat and cow. I mean, if your back is hurting you and you don't have time to do a full session, get on all fours and practice undulating the spine and getting movement through each vertebra. The spine is something that we pretty much neglect. I mean, we stand, we walk, we do all that stuff, but we don't like move it and twist it and send that healing fluid, I think it's called the synovial fluid, into those areas and getting it moving around. Settle into your breath. I'm going going to practice some doing different breath work, and I'm going to try to introduce that in some of our next few sessions of prepping ourselves before we get into practice. My puppy Angel seems to be practicing her breath really well. So either hands up or hands down. Hands up are a gesture of receiving. Hands down are a gesture of grounding. You're grounding yourself. Today I'm gonna do hands facing the sky. Close your eyes. And let's go ahead and, as we always begin, take shorter inhalations, hold, and exhale longer than the inhalation. And the count that I always like to use is a 4 count, hold for 2, 6 count, exhale. But whichever is comfortable for you. And let's go ahead and do this on our own breath. So inhale. Hold. Exhale. Do one more round. Go ahead and flutter your eyes open. Start to take normal breath. Let's go ahead and remove what we are sitting on. We're going to go ahead and lay down on our backs, and we are going to do Baddha Konasana. Baddha Konasana. I forgot what it means, the Sanskrit, but it doesn't mean butterfly. It means something completely different. For those of you who ever used to take gymnastics, it's butterfly. Butterfly is more of the heels being in towards the groin area more. However, actually it feels kind of good, but I'm going to do it diamond shape. But before we get there, let's get on our backs, because we don't want to get into that pose and then lay down. We want to do it the opposite. So let's go ahead and lie flat on our backs, really lengthening the spine, crown of the head reaching up. Even though it's not up, you're lengthening away from your feet. Making sure that you keep your sacrum glued to the mat. Knees up to the sky, feet flat on the floor. Go ahead and bring your bottoms of your feet together, touching. And let the knees fall open. You can come as far as you'd like. If you feel that you're extending your low back and really exaggerating the C curve, you need to bring your feet down, meaning pull them away from your body more. If this is too much for you and you're feeling it in your low back, because even this is really putting a lot of pressure on my low back personally. I have a lot of low back issues from all sorts of junk in my life. And go ahead, I'm going to put my knees up. If you are having issues with your your low back, you can have your knees touching and spread the feet wide. And this will give you a different sort of restorative pose. Same type of stretch, in a sense. You're still getting a stretch, but not so intense on the low back area or on the sacrum area. It's more like the low back and the hip area as well. My hip popped. That felt great. Your knees do not have to come all the way down to the mat. They just have to be, energy has to just be going in that direction. Just let gravity do its work. You can go ahead and place one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly. Couple more rounds of breath. And as you come out of this, go ahead and place your hands underneath your thighs, and you can help give them a lift to raise your knees back up to the sky, or you can just move your heels down, legs straight. However you want. Let's go ahead. Well, no, we're going to stay on our back, so don't get up. Now what we're going to do is this next pose. I've been waiting. I didn't know the name of this pose, but I love it because it opens up the low back and it also opens up the inner part of the thigh, which often gets neglected in yoga. So what we're going to do is we are going to drop our legs over to the right. And we are going to, I want to make sure I do this right. No, just kidding. Let's go ahead and come up to seated. And I'm going to pause it here because we need a bolster for this. So at this point, guys, go ahead and grab a pillow or a bolster if you have one. Okay, we're back. I got my bolster. This is what we're going to do. So this is going to be challenging for me to cue this. I want to cue this to you right. Go ahead and put your pillow or bolster long. From here, let's go ahead and put our, I can feel I'm tight right here. Go ahead and put your right leg parallel to your mat, to the top of your mat right here. And it's kind of like in a figure 4 in a sense. So you want to make sure that your, what am I trying to say? Your thigh is close into the body. So it's like you're at that figure 4, really. Then with your left leg, we're going to place it back behind you. And we want the same figure 4. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that it stays in line with your hip. So you want to make sure that and that your your left shin is parallel with the top of the mat. Okay? This is called swastikasana pose. And this pose is awesome because it really twists out this portion of your back, this low back portion, and in through here. I think this is the area called the psoas area, in through here, and then the inner thigh, which is, I'm sure you're going to find it juicy. Now, on an inhale, you're going to lengthen your spine. And what you're going to do is you're going to twist the body, and we're going to come down to that bolster. All right, I hope my headset doesn't fall out. If it does, that's okay. We're going to bring the left cheek to the pillow. If you can't do this, go ahead and bring the right cheek to the front like this. Okay? Keeping the hands facing upward, kind of cactus. They're kind of cactus arms. Go ahead, and I'm going to replace my head, and we're going to take a few breaths in this pose. Now, if you're having a hard time breathing and you can't take a full inhalation, you need to come out of it. You want to make sure that when you take these poses that you're not stressing the body, because when you stress the body, the harder it is to take the pose. Make sure you be able to take that calm breath. So on exhale, let's go ahead and fold. And we're going to hold this here for about, let's do a 3 count breath. Oh my goodness, my low back is, that feels good. Find if there's any adhesion in the body, if you're holding any tightness in your jaw. Maybe you're frowning your brow. Maybe you're even tight in the arms. Your next inhale, let's go ahead and press the hands into the mat, pushing the torso up. And let's go ahead and do the other side. So I'm just going to move my bolster to the top so that I can stay facing the camera. Bringing that figure 4 again with the left shin parallel to the top of the mat. Bringing back that right leg, keeping it in a nice line with the body and the torso here. Making sure that my shin is parallel with the top of the mat. There. All right. Inhale. Lengthen the spine out. Ooh, yeah. And exhale. Start to bend at the hips. Bringing your chin to the bolster, or turning your cheek and placing your cheek on the left. Go ahead and relax here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, pressing the hands into the mat, pushing the torso back up, and we will come to seated. Go ahead and move our bolster out of the way. Let's see if I can put mine right here so it doesn't get in the way. And then let's move into cat and cow. Make sure that your shoulders are over your wrists and your wrists are under your shoulders. Now remember when I was talking about that pelvic movement down at the bottom, it's like the lowest part of the spine, and it seems to be the part that gets to be the tightest, because that's where we're sitting our booty down a lot. I know I work on the computer quite a bit. I work on my phone too, and it becomes a spine cruncher, and driving as well. So we can make some organic movements here. Let's go ahead and settle in. Now what we're going to do here is I'm going to tuck my toes as well. So on inhale, we're going to start to, at the base of the spine, go ahead and start to drop the tummy to the ground as you extend the sacrum up to, or the low back, up to the sky. And as you do that and you're pushing the ground away, your tummy is reaching towards the ground as your head and neck are looking up at the sky. On an exhale, start to tuck that pelvis inward. And you'll move one vertebra at a time on an exhale, pushing the ground away, rounding the back, really, really puffing up that spine. Tucking that chin to your neck. I'm sorry. Tucking the chin to the chest. Inhale, starting from the spine. Reaching the sit bones up to the sky. As the tummy reaches down, chest pulls through. Pushing away as the throat and gaze are up. Exhale. Let's go ahead and do this on our own breath. Making exaggerated movements to really get some movement in the spine. Inhale. Exhale. I really like cat and cow. Cat and cow really, it seems so simple, which it is, but it's not easy. And sometimes we don't know some simple movements can actually create huge benefit in the body. Movement in the spine is super important for our overall health. All right, so from here we're going to move into downward facing dog. Really make sure that your hands are open, placing all the weight, most of the weight, into the first finger and your thumb, tucking the toes, sending the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. And let's go ahead and pedal into our dog today. Keeping a micro bend in the knees if need be. The heels don't have to come all the way to the mat. They're just, the energy's going in that direction. Making sure you're keeping the spine lengthened. Sit bones are up. You're like sending them up but down at the same time. So it's creating this energy weight in your heels of your feet. On an exhale, dropping your knees to the mat, we'll come into child. Child is a nice restorative pose. I think I say that all the time. I like doing these poses. They make me want to go, It's just so relaxing. So a little time in our day when we get to go, On your next inhale, go ahead and place your hands by the knee and start to roll the vertebrae up. Well, let's say roll the torso up one vertebra at a time. There we go. So the head is atop the shoulders. All right. Now from here, let's go ahead and plant our hands and we'll go back into downward facing dog. Tucking the toes, sending hips up and back. On an inhale, we're going to lift the right leg into tripod dog, really reaching the toes up to the sky. On an exhale, we're going to step that right foot through, dropping the back heel to the mat, and we are going to cartwheel up into warrior two right away. Oh, really feeling the strength in your body, putting the weight on the pinky edge of the back foot and putting the weight equally in the front foot. I feel it really in my toes. I could like lift my heel. Making sure that your knee is above, stacked above the ankle, and your knee is in line with that second toe. Reaching the arms, reaching the fingers as if you were trying to reach somebody on the other side, opposite sides of you. Shoulder blades together on the back. On an exhale, we're going to bring that right elbow to the knee. However, it's going to be on the outside. So we're going to lock it in on the outside of your knee here, on the inside of your knee. Don't put any weight into this. How you can hold this pose is keep your hand on your heart. Trust the strength of your body. And an inhale, we're going to rainbow that left arm over, keeping a long straight line from the feet all the way up to the fingertip. Inhale, go ahead and drop your hands to the mat, because We're going to scoot it in just a little bit, okay? Want to inhale. Let's go ahead and come back into Warrior Two. My feet were starting to slide apart, so I wanted to get a better grip. Now what we're going to do here from Warrior Two is we are going to start to straighten that right knee. As we straighten the right knee, moving the hips back, we're going to start to bend at the torso, at the hips, actually, coming into triangle pose. I think this is triangle. Vashisthasana is how I learned it from its Sanskrit name. So, sometimes I know the poses through their Sanskrit name, and some of the poses I know through their English names. Now you can either bring your hands, this is a good place where you can use a block. You can bring your hand all the way down to the mat on the front or the back. I can't do the back yet. And you can bring it on the shin. Place it on the shin for some weight. But don't place all your weight into it. What you really want to do is make sure you're reaching in both directions. Reaching away. Creating length. It's all about creating length. On your next exhale, go ahead and drop that right hand down to the mat, and we're going to walk over and do a nice, let's go ahead and do a wide leg forward fold. I want to make sure that when you're doing your wide leg forward fold, don't lock your knees. And how you do that is grip the mat with your toes. I find that when I grip my mat with my toes, it doesn't allow me to lock in into the kneecap, and I get to hold the pose with a lot of integrity. Okay, from here, what we're going to do is go ahead and place that right hand right down in front of you. And on an inhale, we're going to twist, moving that left arm up to the sky as the gaze follows. And you want to make sure that the shoulders are stacked atop each other. Breathe here. One more inhale. Exhale, placing the hand back down. Ooh, what we're going to do here, guys, is this is called Malasana squat. This one might be a little bit challenging for some of you that are just beginning. Go ahead and heel toe your feet closer in together. Go ahead and make them about, wider than your hips for sure. I have like maybe about, 18 inches right here. Because what we're going to do is, as you place your hands down, we're going to sink our hips. Make sure that your toes are facing outward. As you bend your knees, we're going to bring our hips down to the ground. You're going to want to settle into Malasana. It's pretty intense when you first get into it. But once you're into it, it really, really opens up the hips. We're going to sit the sit bones as if we were going to sit down to the ground, like they're really heavy. So the weight is being pulled that way. As we take prayer, really making sure that you are pushing into your knees with your elbows and pushing your elbows into your knees and knees opposite. You're both pushing, both back. I'm pushing in with my knees and I'm pushing in with my elbows. So you're creating that resistance there. It really opens up this area of the body, this low back area that really holds a lot of stress and trauma in our lives. So breathe here. Lengthening the spine, reaching the spine up to the sky as you are reaching the tailbones down to the mat. On your next exhale, let's go ahead and plant the hands to the mat, sending the hips up to the sky. Let's do a quick forward fold. Heel toe the feet back together, and inhale, go ahead and come to standing. Now from here, we're going to do tree. So let's go ahead and plant the weight into our right leg, making sure we're really strong in our right leg. Feeling into that. Go ahead and reach the hands up to the sky. Let's go ahead and bring them back down on exhale to prayer. On inhale, go ahead and lift your leg. You can either do this. You can start to kickstand if you haven't done tree before. You can kickstand right here at the shin. Is that the shin or the ankle? It's the ankle. Or you can place your foot on the shin, or never on the knee, guys. Or you can place it in the inner upper thigh. As you do this, you want to make sure that you are pointing like if your left knee was an arrow down to the ground. Now inhale. Make sure you're not looking at me. Look at something else that's not moving. Hands are to prayer at the heart. Really making sure you're pressing the sternum back into the thumbs. I'm shaking a lot today. Every day is different in tree, guys. Trust me. Go ahead and reach those branches up to the sky. Woo! And if you fall out, that's fine. Remember, we must lose our balance to find our balance. Remember that. Exhale. Go ahead and bring our left foot back down to the mat. Woo! Shake it out, guys. Shake it out. Now we're going to go ahead and do our flow, which is going to be our classic flow. So starting at the top of the mat, let's go ahead. Inhale, hands reaching above the sky, above your head to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center as we forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let's go ahead and step back. We're going to come to chaturanga. Oh, actually, no, we're not. Not this time. Just kidding, guys. Tuck in your toes. We're going to come into plank. I don't think I've held plank with you guys before. So we're going to do plank. So plank. And then from plank, we're going to drop down and we're going to do chaturanga and then come into low cobra. So from here, make sure that your forearms stay at a 45-degree angle and we can drop down. Hold this. Inhale. Bringing it forward into low cobra. Making sure you're not cranking back the neck. Now, if you have a hard time doing chaturanga, please don't do chaturanga straight out like that. If you've never done it before, you can really, really hurt your shoulders. So you can do what I like to do. One of my favorite poses is Ashtangasana, which is knees, hands, chin, and chest to the mat. And then on inhale, you can bring the body through, bringing the shoulder blades together, keeping the gaze heavy into a low cobra. And then on exhale, we're going to come to downward facing dog. Inhale, step or jump to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, pressing so much down into the feet. We're going to bend the knees and we're going to come to standing, lengthening the spine one vertebra at a time, stacking the vertebra one vertebra at a time as the hands meet above the head. Exhale, hands to heart center. Whew. Okay, guys. Woo, that was fun. Now we have to do the other side. So from here, let's go ahead and find our way back down to the mat. And we're going to come into tabletop. So, right here from tabletop, let's go ahead and tuck our toes. Inhale, sending the hips up and back, downward facing dog. On inhale, we're going to lift the right leg. We're going to step it through in between the hands, dropping the right heel into a 45-degree angle as we cartwheel the hands open into Warrior Two. On exhale, what we're going to do here is we're going to drop our left elbow to the outside of our left knee. On inhale, rainbowing that right arm over as the gaze is up, heart slightly reaching towards the sky. To help you keep this pose, place your hand on your heart. Just feeling that long line of energy from the toes all the way to your fingertips. Exhale, planting the hands to the mat. Ah, yes. We're going to get ready for bringing your foot a little bit. Still going to be at a 45-degree angle here, so let's go ahead and get into Warrior Two again. So from our Warrior Two, you're going to straighten that front leg as you send the hips back. As you send the hips back, you'll naturally start to bend at the waist, or not the waist, at the hips. Make sure I say that right. You can bring your left hand down to the mat, the shin, or a block. As you reach the right arms and fingers up to the sky as the gaze follows. So you don't lock your front knee here. You want to make sure that you're gripping the mat with your toes. That prevents you from locking your kneecap. Breathe here. On an inhale, I got to see what the pose is next. On your next exhale, go ahead and drop that right hand to the mat, bringing the toes forward, slightly in as we forward fold. From here, placing the left hand on the mat right down in front of your gaze. On an inhale, we're going to reach like if you're pulling back on an arrow, like a bow. We're going to reach the right arms or right fingers up to the sky as the gaze follows, stacking the shoulders atop each other. Keeping that sacrum, this back part of your back, nice and flat. So if you can't turn all the way, that's okay. Go as far as you can. This is a practice and you got to build. Next exhale, go ahead and plant that hand to the mat. So here you have a wide leg forward fold. Okay? And from here, we're going to bring our toes. We want our toes to be facing outward, heels in. As we start to bend our knees, we're going to bring the sit bones as low as you can. Now, some of you, if you need to keep your hands down on the ground and you're up on your feet like this, that's fine. Just start to move your body slowly. Take long, deep breaths so you can get into this pose. Hands meet into prayer. Thumbs into the sternum, sternum into the thumbs, elbows into the knees, knees into the elbows. Crown of the head reaching up to the sky. There's a lot going on here, guys. And breathe here. Exhale. Your next exhale, go ahead and plant your hands as you start to raise the booty up to the sky. Woo! We can shake it out a little bit. Heel toeing the feet back together, bending in the knees, lots of weight in those feet, and slowly rolling up the spine. We come to standing, and we'll take tree on the left side. So planting your left leg into the ground, making sure that it's the strength of your body here. Lifting up your toes, placing them back on the mat as your roots. From here, you can kickstand your right foot at your ankle. You can bring your foot up to your shin. Is that your shin? Or your calf? Or you can bring it all the way up into the inner part of your thigh. Planting. Make sure you look at something that isn't moving. Lengthening the spine upwards. Hands into prayer. As you hold this pose, making sure you keep your hips level. You start to shake. If you come out, that's great. Just get back into it. Don't be mad at yourself. Practice, remember. Go ahead and inhale and raise the branches up to the sky. So grateful for being here today. Next exhale, go ahead and drop that right leg back to the earth. And let's go ahead and take our flow. At the top of the mat, hands into prayer. Hands above the head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, planting the hands, stepping back. We are going to come into plank. Shoulders over the wrists, really pushing the ground away. Heels of the feet reaching to that imaginary wall behind you, really pulling down towards that imaginary wall behind you, pushing the ground away. On an exhale, dropping the knees, chin, chest to the ground, Ashtangasana or Chaturanga, your choice. Hips up to the sky. Inhale, come through, low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step or jump to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Inhale, forward. Inhale, pressing so much into the mat, we come to standing. Slight bend in the knees, rolling the vertebra, rolling the spine up one vertebra at a time. Hands meet above the head. Exhale, hands down. Awesome, awesome, awesome blossom, guys. From here, as we take our Tadasana, let's go ahead and feel into the Tadasana before we go ahead and come to the mat. Lifting the toes up, placing them back down on the mat, really feeling the four corners of each foot into the mat. pressing into the mat. Reaching the crown of the head to the sky. Tucking the tummy muscles in. Lengthening the sit bones down. Your next exhale, go ahead and start to move it around a little bit. Let's go ahead and come down to the mat. We're going to do a few back strengthening poses here. We're going to do a few sessions in locust pose. Locust pose is similar to low cobra in the sense that it's on its tummy and you're kind of like lifting with the low back and using the back strength to lift the body up. However, in locust, you're reaching back with your hands back behind you as you lift the torso up, as you also lift the feet off the ground. Hold, breathe. Tightening the tummy muscles. Exhale. Bring that left cheek to the mat. Inhale, lifting the torso up as the hands reach and the arms reach back as you start to lift the toes off the mat. Kind of like an airplane. Exhale. Bring it down. Now from here, I'm going to switch to the other side. We're going to go ahead and do boat pose. And how we're going to get into that is you're going to bend your knees, reach back with your hands, and grab the ankles. Some of you, this might be enough for you. Others, we can start to come up. So on an inhale, we're going to roll the shoulders up and back, lifting torso off the mat, lengthening the spine as we lift the thighs off the mat. So inhale, lifting everything up. Really using the ankles, pull on your wrists. Exhale. That was challenging for me. That's a newer pose for me as well. We're going to do it one more time. Inhale. Start to roll the shoulders back, lengthening the spine out. Reaching those feet up to the sky. Exhale. Bring it back down. Releasing the feet. There might be a little snap. Make sure you control your feet back to the mat. Planting the hands. Let's go ahead and come into child. And let's do restorative child. So sitting the hips back to the ankles, forehead on the mat, bringing the arms alongside the body and the torso. Your hands are back by your feet. A few more breaths. I was really enjoying that, and I didn't say much. I'm sorry. But one thing I do notice is I move my body a lot. Involuntary, like hands and stuff. And really, you want to focus on releasing and relaxing into the moment. On your next inhale, let's go ahead and plant the hands by the knees and push that torso up. We'll come to seated. And then we're going to do, actually, let's go ahead and stretch out and come to Shavasana. Rolling the torso down one vertebra at a time. Inhale, let's go ahead and bring our knees to our chest and hug them in. That feels really good. You can make little movements around. On an exhale, let's go ahead and plant our feet to the mat. Extending your legs long in front of you, or in front of you. Extending them long. Hands naturally by your side. An angel by your head, if you have an angel. Closing the eyes down, feel into our body. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bringing yourself back into this present moment. Keeping your eyes heavy. Let's go ahead and bring the knees up to the sky. And we're going to turn. We're going to roll over to one side or the other. Keeping a moment here in fetal position. Next inhale, go ahead and plant the top arm, hand into the mat as we come to seated. Slowly fluttering the eyes open, replacing whatever you were sitting on. Coming into our practice as we started. Ouch. I live in New Mexico, and we have these crazy things called goat heads out here that are like, they look like goat heads, and they're stickers, and they're mean. I want to put it there. And I just poked myself with one. I hope you guys really enjoyed this short flow of doing all the things in yoga. Not all the things, but we did work on a lot of areas of opening, back strengthening, opening up the hips, some power strength balancing poses. So we did a lot today. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and bring our hands to heart center in prayer. Bringing our thumbs to our third eye as we bow forward and say Namaste. Thank you guys for allowing me to be a part of your practice. I really appreciate this. I'm really having a lot of fun doing these videos. It's teaching me how to cue better. It's teaching me how to be a better teacher and better communicator. It's also giving me some confidence to get out there and really help other people that want to start yoga but just don't know where to start and are kind of like, it's sketchy. You don't know what you don't know. Anyway, I hope in your search today you found some joy. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up. Leave some comments below. Let me know if there's some areas that you want me to work on, or if, it would be nice to get some feedback. That'd be cool. And then don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll be here next week. I'll see you guys then. Take care.